You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all
Hi
your
everyone,
doubts
and welcome
to
from your
rest.
Intuition Queen to a new episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been listening to my podcast for a while. I hope you're enjoying the series about colors. So this time we're going to talk about the color indigo. So in color therapy, indigo is a color related to intuition and a deep self-awareness. What does that mean? A deep self-awareness, normally for people that have this color in their chart, means that they're very aware of what's going on within them and also around them. So on a spiritual, on a physical, emotional, and energetic level. This can feel like a lot because you have a tendency to feel everything and to know everything and to see everything. This is a color where maybe you have some intuitive clairs, like you might be a very intuitive person and you might be using this for work, or you just are. You just feel things, you just know things. And it's very difficult for you to explain those things if you're not surrounded by people that understand you and support you. If you have this color in your color chart in color therapy, you might be a very spiritual person or someone interested in spirituality, and you apply this in your way. It can be spirituality in terms of tarot cards, astrology, all of those practices, like you've listened so much in this podcast. Or you might just be spiritual related to your religion, which again also has rituals and things like this. And you might be someone that practices them, or you're just interested in them and not necessarily someone that does that. But if you're surrounded by people that talk about certain things, you won't feel like out of place. This is also a color related to wisdom and related to spiritual investigation. What does it mean? Spiritual investigation is when you start to want to understand a little bit more about forces that are outside of ourselves. You might be someone that, for example, it's very interested in learning and understand all the different religions in order to understand, or maybe something that they have in common, or different rituals, or you just want to learn more based on what you feel for yourself. So you might be on a discovery path in order to understand a little bit more. And this can happen at any time in any part of your life and at any age. Normally, when you get to this point is because you feel there is a very strong pull for you to change something or to learn and understand something more about yourself. You're kind of like to a point where what you've known, what you've learned so far, it's no longer enough for you, and so you want to learn more. And normally this happens either because you are at that point in your life, or because something like very important has happened to you. It could be something negative, like maybe you've lost someone, you had an accident, or things like this, like a tragedy is involved, or it's just a natural path for you. And there are a lot of stories in the podcast that talk about the two different situations. Either something happened, or all of a sudden, like your choices and your experiences bring you to that desire to investigate spiritually something different. If you have indigo in your chart, you're surely someone that is very sociable and wants to meet people and connect to other people. But because of the nature of this color, you absorb a lot. And if you're not someone that has learned to protect their energy and has learned to protect themselves when they go out, you might feel like you want to go out, but then people need to really drag you out because you really like to stay within, you really like to stay by yourself. So you might be a kind of person that rather has friends coming over or goes to places where there isn't too much crowd, because that puts you in a space where maybe energetically and emotionally you might feel there is too much energy scattered around and you feel way too much, especially when you don't know the people. So it's very important, if you have this color in your chart, or if you're sensitive anyway, because you don't just have to have this color, you might just be sensitive without having this color in your chart, but you really need to learn to protect yourself and to protect your energy before you go out. So how do you do that? You need to set an intention, and you need to ask your guides, whatever they are. It could be angels, could be the universe, could be God, could be your other god and goddesses, whichever applies for you, to help you to protect your energy. And you can envision maybe a white light, and you can envision yourself to be in a white protective light, to make sure that the people that are aligned to you can actually come to you, and anybody else can be kind of like rejected from your energy, so that you don't feel their energy and their emotion. This could be something that you can use no matter what color you have in your chart. I use that a lot because I am very sensitive to people's energies and emotions, and because I work a lot with colors and words. When people talk to me and the colors that I see on them have an effect on me, they tell me a lot of them. And so I need to make sure that I protect myself, so that whatever they're talking to me about, whatever they're saying, how they approach me, doesn't actually come too close to me, and kind of stays in the boundaries that I've set for myself, the energetic boundaries that I've set for myself and for others. So this is something you can do too. The energy of indigo generally calls for intuition, vision, acceptance, devotion, and unity. What does this mean? When you have this color, you're going to be asked from the universe, and depending where this color is in your color chart, but you're going to be someone that is a visionary, has a vision for themselves and possibly society. If you're someone that works with other people, you might have a vision of other people's life, energy, or things like that. But in order for you to connect your vision and your intuition, you have to learn to accept where you're at, who you are, what's going on with you. And this is where you need to release control a lot. We have seen, if you have been listening to the series of colors, it's a progression. We start from the red, where that's where we start from. It's our origins, it's where we are born. Then you have those energies in your color chart or not. You're still going to have your energies in your body, because I also talk about Reiki. So we all have those energies playing out for us in our lives. And this is a progression going from the color red up to the color indigo. It's a progression for us to become less attached to things, to be more intuitive, to be more in tune with our body, ourself, our emotion, our energy, our spirit. And therefore, to get to a point where you are able to open up your vision, whatever is possible for you, and if you're working with others, for others, or maybe just for the people you're surrounded by, you need to release control. Control, it's something that keeps us stuck because it's related to attachment. We attach to something or someone because we feel we're lacking that in ourselves. And I talked about this before in all the other colors. So if you want to learn more about this topic, just go back and listen to all of the other colors. There is a little bit of this in each and every color in a different way. So you might want to go back and re-listen to, or listen to the other colors and see how they're all connected to one another. Now, the fact that you have indigo in your chart doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be aware and you're going to have wisdom, you're going to be intuitive. A lot of the people that have this color in their chart can be in resistance to this, and this is because society has told us that being intuitive doesn't make sense. You have to be logical. I have worked with people that have this color in their chart, that have indigo in their chart, and connecting to their intuition, connecting to themselves can often be very, very difficult because we have learned to do. We have learned to take action. We have learned to make sure that we have results about what is it that we want. And when we are disconnected from our intuition, it can be very difficult for us to get the results that we want, have what we want, manifest what we want, because connected to our intuition oftentimes can look like not doing things, not doing, but staying within, staying still, learning to understand how our intuition connects with us and talks to us, and therefore can be like, wasting time. This is something that I have had to learn. I'm going to talk about human design for a moment here, but I am very intuitive, as you guys know. I've said this before, and I have purple in my chart. I have pink in my chart. Those are very intuitive colors. I also have orange in my chart, which give me the intuitive and creative energy that I have put out for myself, and that's my title. But when I did a human design reading, I am a generator. Those energies were very strong within me, and one of the things that you need to know if you're a generator is that the less you do, the better, in the sense that you need to learn to have fun with what you're doing in order for you to progress and manifest. Doing, and get crazy about figuring out what to do, it's only going to go against your energy. And I do human design readings, and I've learned working with my clients that this is something we all need to learn. It doesn't matter your profile, it doesn't matter your energies, your colors, but learning to understand that we need to stop just doing, and we need to learn to stay within ourselves, get still, get the messages, and have fun and enjoy what we're doing. It's important for us to move forward. And therefore, if you have indigo, this is one of the things that you will need to learn a lot. And I had quite a few clients with indigo in their chart struggling to connect with themselves and to connect with their joy and with their fun, because they came from a belief and a behavior that was about doing and being a lot in their masculine energy. Indigo is a very feminine energy, so you need to learn to trust yourself, connect with yourself, and learn to receive, so that you can take action. And this is something that we need to learn to do more. And I had to learn to do this a lot, because like so many of us, I was used to behave in the more masculine way, because at work that was required of me in order for me to do things, in order for me to get results. And so when you learn to be too much in your masculine, you're going to struggle to connect to your intuition, because your mind is going to override that. So if you have this color in your chart and you struggle to connect to your intuition, it's a request from your soul, your energy, your heart, your intuition, to connect more and to release that masculine energy and release that societal behavior that it's not for you. If indigo instead pops up in your energy field, and I explained this before, when I do color therapy sessions, I often see colors popping up in your energy that don't necessarily belong to your color chart. And this is happening when there is something that you need to release that is related to that color. So it's the topic, emotion, energy that needs to be released. It's your soul asking you to look at it and release it, so you can move forward depending on what is it that you're working with me. So let's say that you come to me because you want to learn to understand your energies, or you want to have more clients in your business, you want to attract the love of your life, whatever the topic could be. When something pops up, when a color pops up in your energy field, there is something that you need to release that is related to the topic that you wanted to work on. And when you release that, you can move forward in that. So this is what happens when I talk about if this color pops up in your energy field. It's because it's necessary for you to get rid of it, to release it, understand why you're resisting something, like could be a situation, could be an energy, could be an emotion, could be a lot of things. So when indigo pops up in your energy field, it's because the person is normally afraid of their spiritual side of themselves, and or maybe they are disconnected completely from themselves. So I have worked with people that were attracted to this, and so the fact that they were coming to know their colors felt like a little bit different from wanting to connect to their spiritual side of themselves, but this is what they were asking to do. When this color pops up in your energy field is because you're feeling a pull to change something in your life. Maybe you're feeling a pull to discover something different about your spirituality, but you're too afraid. It happens often when I talk to people, especially since I moved back to Italy, that when I talk to them about what I do, they're like, oh, that's amazing. But when they hear that I read cards, they're like, oh, no. And because I can figure out people's colors based on their date of birth, I always ask what's the date of birth and things like that. And it often happens that people with this color that have followed a path that has nothing to do with spirituality might feel like it's too much. Oh my God, what is this? I'm intrigued, but there is that other part of yourself that is afraid. Why are you afraid? Well, when you're connected completely with your intuition, with your spirit, with your heart, with your body, with your energy, with your emotion, you become extremely powerful. And a lot of us is afraid of how powerful we can be. Why? Because when we are powerful, then we can do a lot of things that we have been told we're not supposed to be doing. And so too many people are afraid to disappoint families, friends. They are afraid to lose friends. So this color is there for you to tell you, you are extremely powerful if you connect to yourself, if you connect to your energy, if you connect to your soul desires. But in order for you to do this, there's going to be a lot of changes in your life. A lot of people are not going to be happy about you shining bright, shining your light, sharing your wisdom. And therefore, so many people are afraid of really shining their light because they know that they're surrounded by people that are not necessarily going to be supportive of that. And if you're going through this situation in your life, please, 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 please reach out, because you are here for a reason. And the reason is not for you to behave like other people want you to behave. It's not for you to play small. It's not for you to dim your light. You're here to expand and become that beacon of light you're supposed to be, doing something that maybe not everybody will understand, but you're here for a reason. And this is what you're meant to do, and you need to grow in that. So if you don't know what to do, or if you're just feeling like out of place, or you're in this transitional moment, you're feeling lonely, because it can happen when you realize so much about yourself and you have this awareness that I was talking to you about earlier. Well, then that's when so much around you will change, from the people that you're surrounded yourself with, to your perception of things, people, and priorities, and what's important, what's not. In this transition, it is very possible that you will change so much in your life. And when you're changing so much in your life, it is possible that you will feel lonely, because all of a sudden you don't have a supportive net, or things are so different that you're still adjusting yourself to the new version of yourself. And therefore there is that moment. So if that's something that is happening to you, or you feel like you're going towards this and you feel lonely, you feel like giving up, you feel like going back to where you were, please reach out. Let's have a conversation. You can just message me at hello@theintuitionqueen.com. You can send me an email, or you can get in touch with me through Instagram, The Intuition Queen, or you can go to my website, and if you feel like you can book a discovery call, just go to theintuitionqueen.com and you can find it there. But please don't stop going through your spiritual awakening if this is what's going on with you, because you've been asked from the universe to step up and to level up, because we need you. We need you. We need people like you. We need people that are self-aware, spiritual aware, and that are called to do this. So please don't stop. This color pops up, indigo pops up in your energy field if you are afraid. And as I mentioned earlier, the fear can come from what's going on around you, because everything is changing, or because you don't know how to manage yourself in this situation. So what can you do if this is what's happening to you? Try to find a way to stand still, to sit in silence and connect to this energy. So you can imagine yourself to either have a indigo light falling off you, like coming through you, or you can imagine yourself to be in a bubble of indigo light. You can use indigo colors in things, in actual physical things, if you have them around you. You can maybe download something from the internet and just look at that picture. Do whatever feels more comfortable for you, but connect to this energy and try to stay there at least about 10 minutes in silence, connecting with this energy, and see what kind of message comes through for you. And if nothing comes through for you, and if in this 10 minutes you just had a lot of thoughts coming through you and your mind hasn't stopped, that's okay. Just use this to journal about it. Whatever messages, whatever thoughts were coming in your mind, maybe those are messages that you need to understand. And if you have been able to have a vision, maybe to have some messages, then again, write them down and keep connected. Do this for, I would suggest, try to do this for at least 10 days, every single day if you can, and see what's coming through for you, because you need to learn to do this. Maybe you're not used to do this. So learn to connect to this energy and to this color in order for you to release something and to understand and to get more intuitive messages. Indigo can also pop up in your energy field when you are overwhelmed and you're really tired. Maybe you're exhausted and you haven't stopped for a minute and you keep going around. Maybe there is too much going on your plate and you're just feeling very disconnected from yourself because you're in the doing rather than in the being. This can happen if you are very, very busy at work and you don't have a moment to take a breath. It often happens, I have noticed with my clients, when they are parents, especially if they're women, because they're basically always on the go, taking care of the family, taking care of them, their business, their work, taking care of their life, and they disconnect from themselves because they feel there is no time for that. And this is one of the things that we often put off because there is no time, because we need to take care of other people. Well, when this happens, it's a request from you to, if you're overwhelmed, if you're exhausted, if you are confused, if you're feeling out of sort, it's a request from your soul to stop and really figure out what you need, what really is a priority and what isn't. Way too often we tend to do way too much and we forget to delegate to other people. We think that we are the ones that have to do everything, and that's when we kind of put too much pressure on ourselves. So if this is something happening to you, and this is the reason why indigo can pop up in your energy field, it's because you need to stop, stand still, and really take care of yourself and figure out what's important and what's not, and figure out, connecting to your intuition, there are things that you're supposed to be doing and there are things that really you shouldn't. They're really not for you to do. So that's where putting up boundaries, it's important. Delegating things, especially if you have a family, you can delegate things to your partner, or if you have kids that are old enough, you can delegate. This is something that I always tell my clients that have a family. It's not something that you have to do on your own. A family means that you have other people helping you out. So dividing all the duties, it's important. If you don't have a family and you're just overwhelmed and tired or out of focus, confused, maybe there are changes that are happening in your life at the moment, or you're thinking about changing things in your life and you just don't know where to start, and just thinking about it makes you feel overwhelmed. Again, stop and stand still for a moment, connect to yourself. You will get the answers that you need to get when you start to listen to yourself and you stop being in the doing. It's being in the doing that fucks us up, because we don't have the time to connect to ourselves, and we need the time to be in the receptive mode. We need the time to stay in our feminine energy and allow the messages to come through, and allow to understand ourselves. What is important, what is not, what do I want, what don't I want, and be honest with ourselves. Indigo also pops up in your energy field when there is way too much responsibilities and no fun. So as I said earlier, with human design, this is something that pops up a lot in the chart of my clients, and I've learned for myself that as a generator, I need to have fun. And so if you have way too much responsibility, if you are too much into doing, you probably have stopped having fun, or you think that stopping to have fun, like for example, go out, spend time with friends, go to an art exhibition, I don't know, do whatever it is that makes you feel good and enjoy yourself. You might think this is silly and this is something that you shouldn't be doing, but playing, it's not something that is just for children. Playing, it's something that us adults need to learn to do more. So I don't know, that could be dancing, listening to music, go out for a walk, travel, whatever applies for you in with the money that you have, with the time that you have. But it's important for you that you learn to have fun at least 10 minutes a day, because that's when you release all this stuck energy, all this heavy energy, because life is what it is, and there are moments in our life where everything is going crazy and we just have too much to do and there is no time. But it's about us. We are the ones that need to learn to connect to ourselves. We need to learn that if we want, we can find the time for everything. It doesn't have to be an hour all the times. It can be 10 minutes, and you can progressively do more every day. And from 10 minutes, it can become 15, 20. The more you have fun, the more you can connect to your intuition, and the more you get the answers to move forward in whatever it is that is going on with you. And if you need clarity, that's where the clarity comes from. If you need to understand what's the next step, that's where the next step will come from. So it's really important for you to connect. One color that you can use in this, it's orange, because it's related to fun, sexual energy, enjoyment, and creativity. So connect to this color if you're feeling like so much stuck, and try to do something fun, whatever that could be for you. Indigo is a color that pops up in your energy field when there is emotional pain that needs to be processed and released. I do intuitive sessions for this. So if you are going through emotional pain and it's really difficult for you to release it, then you really need someone to help you, because you might not be able to see what's going on. I have often sessions with clients that maybe they feel something on a physical level, or they wake up in tears, or they feel an emotion that it's stuck within them and they don't know where that's coming from. So when we do this work, it's about connecting to that emotion and then releasing that. And that's really important, because you're going to feel free, and surely that's an emotion that is keeping you stuck in whatever it is that you want to move forward with. That could be a professional or personal life, it doesn't matter. It can be related to people in your life or not. And so depending on the situation, you really need to release those emotions, because they keep getting stored in your body. And if you don't release them, they start to become physical pain. I often work with people that come to me with a physical pain, telling me this is not related to anything. I'm like, okay, let's see. And it's always related to an emotional pain that is not being released before. And the more you work on this, the more your pain, physical pain will be released, and emotional pain will be released. And I promise you, you're gonna feel less heavy, more free on an energetic, emotional, and physical level. So if you feel there is something emotionally or physically that is going on with you that you don't know how to release, or you just don't know where it's coming from, get in touch. We can have a session together, and this can help you to release something within yourself and move forward. Okay, so this is pretty much what's happening when you do a color therapy session with me. And if you feel like there are things that you want to work on, just either book a session with me. You can choose between a color therapy session if you want to learn your colors, or an intuitive session if it's just about understanding how to release emotional, physical pain. Now let's go into Reiki. Indigo is related to the sixth chakra, which is the third eye chakra, and it's just right in between your eyebrows. And that's where you have your vision, like I said earlier. So this is the color related to, it's your spiritual center. And it's when your mind and your psyche can lead you to a powerful intuitive insight. If you're connected to this energy, if your energy is balanced, then you're probably going to be very intuitive, and you're going to be someone that is able to envision things. This is one of my power. When I connect to people, I either see colors, or I either see images of things that are about to happen. This doesn't necessarily mean they will happen, because you have free will, and it depends on you. If you take the right steps toward that vision, you have a soul path that it's kind of like out there in your energy. I can see that, but it's up to you to make it happen. So when you work with me, I'm able to take you towards that path, towards that vision. And normally that vision is not just mine, it's also yours. But it happens that you're too afraid to express that vision, while I see that because it's in your aura, it's in your energy field. And so we can work towards helping you to feel more happy, more in tune with that vision, and less fearful to make it happen, because we are all so powerful, but we are also scared about our power. And I know that because I've been doing so much work on myself, and I've been working with a lot of clients that are so amazing and so powerful, but we all start scared of our power. And it's just about a matter of releasing all of those limitations that have been put on ourselves, and that we also put on ourselves for whatever reason. This energy, it's where our mental abilities are involved, and where we have our psychological skill to evaluate beliefs and attitudes. So to get to this point, you really have to learn to release a lot of yourself. This is a pure connection between the mental aspect of ourselves and the intuitive aspect of ourselves, the spiritual aspect of ourselves. Together, those energies can really help us to see through other people, to understand emotion, to understand more of ourselves. As I said at the beginning, it's the awareness, spiritual awareness, personal awareness. When you're connected with this energy, you're powerful, because you see through other yourself, you see through other situations and other people. And so that's when you're able to stand in your power, and you're not going to be affected by what's going on around you, because first of all, you see through, but also you're just very much able to stand in your own power and not be swayed around by other people. If this chakra is imbalanced, it's pure fear over here. So there is a need to rely on other. You're not willing to look within. You might be very much attached to everything, everyone, situations. You can be a resentful person, and you might be that kind of person that is angry at the world. Maybe you've met some of those people that are always very negative. They feel persecuted. They feel like the people don't love them. This happens for people that have decided not to do any kind of work. It's very much about it's all me, I am the best one, you are nothing. But they live in fear because they're not able to control themselves. So the only way to control themselves if they control others, and this is where the attachment comes from. So they control everything, and they're not able to go within and to connect to their heart, to connect to their intuition, to connect to their spirit. And so you might have people here that are just blinded by resentment, anger, and all of those negative feelings, because with time they have not done any work, and they have maybe blamed everybody else but themselves. And so they have this situation where all the energies in their chakras is blocked, and being in that situation is very fearful. So they attach to a lot of things in order for them not to fall, basically. This chakra, if you're balanced, it means that you've gone through emotional and energetic healing. You've basically done inner child healing. And so here it's where you have learned to understand which were your wounds as a child, which were your wounds as a adult person, where the wounds from your past experiences have come from. So you've been able to see those wounds, understand what they meant, where they came from. You've been able to release them. You've been able to work on them, process them, release them, and you've learned the lessons that they meant for you. Something that I always say, it's that, yes, we all have wounds from our childhood. It doesn't matter if you feel that you had a best childhood ever, or if you know that you didn't, but we are all wounded. The first wounds come from our childhood, and then as we move through life, those wounds will stay with us, and then we will have our own experiences. And if we don't release those wounds and those emotions, they will pile up, and we will project those wounds onto other people. The other people will project their wounds on us. And so you know what happens with people and situations. We are not able maybe to connect with certain people, and things might not go as we want. Whatever happens, if we store those wounds and we don't release them, there is a lot of pain. And that's where what I was talking to you about earlier, emotional and physical pain, energetic pain, and all of that. But if you're balanced here, it means that as you move forward in your life, at some point you decided it was time for you to look within and understand what was going on with you. And in understanding what was going on with you, you basically learn to see you had wounds. You learn to understand where they were coming from. They might have come from your childhood, or maybe from your past situations. And in doing the work, in processing all of those emotions and in releasing them, you have basically learned lessons. All the lessons are here for us to understand more about ourselves. Nothing that happens to us, this is my opinion, nothing that happens to us, it's for our bad things happen to us because we need to learn to understand more of ourselves, and we need to learn to heal ourselves. We need to learn to let go of something. So everything, it's a reflection of what we need to do, how we need to work on ourselves, how we need to grow, so we can release those. So if you have done this kind of work, you are very much aligned with this energy and you're in balance. And this is really important. This is the ultimate goal, to get to a point where you're able to see what happened in your life, why that person behaved with you like that, why that situation went that way, so that you can see it, work on it, process it, release it, and the next time that's not going to happen again. You might be able to see right now, if you think about certain situations, certain relationship, a lot of people come to me being like, this always happens to me. If you feel there is something that where you want to say, this always happens to me, or why do I always attract those kind of people? Well, then there is a pattern there that needs to be broken. And so it's where you need to connect to yourself and do some healing. So that's where you need to start understanding, okay, so why do I attract the same situations over again? Why do I attract the same people over again? Okay, what is my energy? What am I putting out there? Where do I have emotional wounds? And in doing that kind of work, then you're able to release, and the next time that situation won't happen to you, that kind of person won't happen to you. I remember that when I started my spiritual journey, I realized that there was a pattern coming from the relationship between my parents. So I realized that the way my dad was behaving with me, the way my mom was behaving with me, and the way they were behaving between each other was something that I was taking on and was always coming back at me in my professional life. I always had a male boss and a female boss, and there was always this energy where the male boss was very supportive of me, which was my dad. My dad was always very supportive of me. I could feel his love unconditionally. And then there was the female boss that was always trying to put obstacles on me and never wanted me to progress. And that was my mom. And I've talked about this before. I have a narcissistic, well, things have changed so much since I moved here, and I managed to heal the relationship with her. So now things are very different. But the dynamic was always my dad wanting to help me, my dad wanting to give me the things that I wanted, my dad showing me love, my mom always kind of beating me up in emotionally, and never wanting to give me what I wanted, always trying to put obstacles on me and trying to blame me for things, trying to make me feel bad. This dynamic, this energetic dynamic, would always come back to me in my work. And I never realized that until I started to go on my spiritual journey, and I did my first family constellation in 2015. This dynamic became very clear to me in every kind of job I was on. There was always this dynamic of the female and the male, and one of them being extremely supportive and the other one not so much. Normally was the female being very vocal about not wanting to support me or having some decision making that would influence the other person. And when I started to work on this, I then released that. I also then worked on to start my business. But it was fascinating for me to see how those energies were playing up in my work. So think about something that you feel is always happening to you. Maybe you can say, oh my God, I always attract this kind of partner, or I always attract this kind of situation. Could be professional, could be personal, but think about it. If this is always happening to you, then it's your message to understand why this is happening to you and release this energy, because until you do, this is always going to come back to you. So I've experienced that. I work with my clients to release those energies. So try to figure that out yourself. I'm pretty sure it's easy because it's something that you say all the time, like, why this always happens to me. So if it's a situation or if it's a type of a person, For example, you always attract a narcissistic man or woman. You always attract a friend that is in a certain way. Whatever that is, with people or situations, I'm pretty sure you have said this about yourself and about your life. So look into that. So this chakra gets particularly activated when there is a spiritual awakening. This is where there is a big life change. And this can happen because you have made the decision to do it. Like, for example, the times in which when I moved to London from Italy last year, when I decided to move back, or when my dad passed away in 2015. You have, if you've listened to the podcast, there are tons of examples where maybe it's a physical illness, maybe it's a tragedy, someone passing away, something happening that it's very painful, and brings you to make life decisions that require you to release the old version of yourself and start to step into a new version of yourself. Now, this can happen. So there are two ways this can happen. Either, as I said, something happens to you. Could be a tragedy, could be something that you didn't expect. And this happens and you have to make changes. It could be, you've been living in your home for a while and you're renting, and your landlord decides to sell, and you felt that was your own place, you had everything was fine, and now you have to move. So you might move to a different neighbor, you might move to a different city, whatever, or just moving state, country, city, neighbor can provide you to feeling this kind of changes. Someone enters or leaves your life, someone important enters or leaves your life. You make the decision to, I don't know, get married, have a baby, start dating, start your business, leave your job. Those kind of situations will allow you, will ask you to change things within you. What happens is that when the decision is coming from outside and you have to adapt yourself, like as I said, someone, your landlord selling your home, someone in your life passing away or leaving you, or being left out and being fired from your job, or just your company going burst and you need to find a new place. Whatever situation that you've not decided about, but it's happening to you, it's there for you to change yourself, to go through a transformation, to learn to up level your life. It might not feel like that, it might not feel that way, it might feel extremely painful and not necessary, but I promise you that's when there is a spiritual awakening. And oftentimes for the universe to say, okay, are you not listening to the messages? We're going to make you. And you can listen to the podcast episodes because there are so many situations like this. The other situation is when you make the decision to make changes. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, oh my God, I was so happy. I made the decision to change. And then what happened afterwards was just total pain. It happened to me last year when I moved to Italy, was very happy to do it. And then I had to deal with healing the relationship with my mom. And now I can tell you a year after that I managed, but it was very painful last year because I thought that moving back was going to give me a lot of energy to make my business go further and create the life that I wanted. And I got stopped in my track because what I needed to do was to heal my inner child on a more deeper level that I had done before. I've done work before, but it was always on and off depending on what was going on with me. This time was like, we are going to make you stay with your mom, so there is no escape for you. And if you don't make money, you can't leave your mom. So this is what you need to do. And this is what I've been doing. And it was there for a reason. Now I can help my clients better. I have a better vision of what I want to do. and I have a better understanding of myself. So those things happen to you often, even if you make the decision and then something goes wrong and you go through some emotional, energetic, and pain. And it's because you need to grow, and it's because you need to level up. It's because you need to shed a lot of fears and a lot of beliefs that you have of yourself, maybe that you didn't think you could. This happens because the universe wants you to learn that there are things that you needed to release, like fears, maybe fears that you're not able to do it, fears that you cannot achieve something, whatever fear you was still not released, whatever fear was still there playing out for you. And when you do that, then you heal parts of yourself. You heal that part of your inner child that is still not healed. And that's when you grow spiritually, you grow mentally, you grow emotionally and energetically, and you can move forward. And that's when you step up. You do a step up in your life, professionally, personally, whatever applies for you. This is what the energy of Indigo is about. Feel free to get in touch with me if you want to learn more, if you're going through something on the things that I've talked about. This is very common for a lot of us, and I think on an energetic level, planetary, we are being pushed towards awakenings. For some of us, they are big. For some of us, they're small. It depends. But these awakenings can be painful, can be confusing. You might not understand what's going through. You might not understand what's going on with you. Get in touch. I'm here for you. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. I might be able to help you. I might not. I hope this podcast helps you somehow. But I'm here for you. I've been through this. I work with clients that are going through this. And it's a magical time of your life, even if it doesn't sound like this. So don't worry. You got this. All right, as usual, I'm gonna give you the 3 questions that you might want to journal about to understand where you're at with this energy, and to help you understand maybe what you can do. Things can come up when you journal about those questions, and maybe that can help you to understand where you're at. What step can you take? You're more than welcome to let me know what comes up from those questions, and get in touch. All right, so the first question is, what negative behavior? The first question is, what negative behavioral patterns continually surface in your relationships? This is what I was talking to you about when you start to say, this always happens to me. So in your relationships, what is always happening? What kind of people do you always attract? What kind of situation do you feel is always happening to you at some point in the relationship? Let's say that you start dating someone, and after a certain amount of time, the person behaves in a certain way that is always the same. That what's going on with you then? Or you start a new friendship, or you start a new work collaboration, whatever that is. If you feel there is something that is always happening to you, ask yourself what's going on. Ask yourself where you're not connected. Ask yourself what's going on with you. What don't you believe it's true? What you're not trusting? Because as I said to you before, what happens to us, it's always a reflection of what's going on within us. Sometimes we're not aware of it, sometimes we are. So maybe asking yourself these questions can make you become aware, or it can just make you become more honest with yourself. The second question is, are you judgmental? If so, what situations or relationships tend to bring out this tendency in you? So the energy of judgment, it's within us. We grew up with it. We see this all the time. There is judgment on anything. If you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're this, if you're not that, if your body is in a way, if your body is not in a way, we have judgment all over, all the times. You judge people around you because they're doing something, because they're not doing something else. How much judgment do you have? And how much do you use it? How judgmental are you towards others and towards yourself? Judgment makes you feel disconnected because it's a really negative energy that just gives you the opportunity to continuously criticize others. We don't want to be criticized by others, but we're often criticizing others and we're criticizing ourselves. This is the energy of control again, which is completely the opposite of what the indigo energy is about. When you judge others, it's because you want to control something, either within yourself or with others. So if you're judging someone that you don't know, it's because you want to feel better about yourself. So you want to control that side of yourself. If you're judging someone that you know, it's because you want to have control over their choices, because you might feel that what they're doing, it's not good for them and it's making you feel in a certain way. So where do you have this energy? The third question is, are you afraid of the changes that might occur in your life? Should you embrace a conscious lifestyle? So this is what I was talking to you about in the awakening stages. When we decide to make certain changes that are big in our life, it's not necessarily that people around us will support us. And so when you do more conscious choices, they're better for you, but this might mean that people around you might kind of drop. I personally think this is a natural cycle of life. Not all the people that you meet in your life will stay for forever. Some people come into your life for a reason. They stay for a little, they stay for a lot. Some people are meant to stay there forever. But I personally think that they're there to help you grow. And once they've done their job, they go. We tend to want to stay attached to those. So check in your life. Family is also another kind of, it's tricky because it's family, but sometimes, stop talking to certain people that make us feel less than, bad about ourselves. It's necessary in order for us to grow. So see how this applies to you. But if you're afraid of changing your life for your better, for your higher good, because of what's gonna happen around you and around the people around you, then ask yourself again, because the more you feel good about yourself, the more you feel like you're doing the right thing, the more you will attract people that are aligned to your energy. But if you keep staying small because of other people, it's a disservice you're doing to yourself. So ask yourself those questions. Those are really powerful, and I hope they help you to understand more of yourself. And feel free to get in touch with me if this is what it's what's coming up from those questions might stir something within you. If you want to get in touch with me, you can have a color therapy session, you can have an intuitive session, you can have a card reading, you can work with me on a program depending on what it's going on with you. What you need to do is go to theintuitionqueen.com, go into the intuitive sessions tab and see what's good for you. If you want to work with me for a longer period, you just have to book a consultation with me and we can talk about what's going on and I can help you decide what's the best thing for you to do. My programs are ad hoc, so it depends on what you want to work on, how long you want to work on. I will tell you what I feel it's the best thing for you, and then you are free to decide which way to go. If you want to just book a color therapy session to understand more about your energy, to understand about your colors, just go to the website and again, intuitive tab, and you just book the session from there. The same for the card reading or the intuitive sessions. If you just want to ask me questions, you can email me at hello@theintuitionqueen.com and just ask me whatever question you feel like. If it's about the colors, if it's about energies, about human design, whatever it is that you feel you want to ask me, maybe you connected with me for whatever reason, I'd be happy to answer to you. Now, if you want to get in touch with me through Instagram, if you want to follow me there, just go to follow me at the Intuition Queen. If you want to join my community, just go to my Facebook group, Discover Your True Colors, and I'll be happy to enjoy the community with you and share everything I know about colors, energies, emotions, and all of that. Okay, well, thank you so much. I hope to hear from you. And now it's time to pull up a card for the collective, whoever is listening or watching this. This time, I have decided to use a different oracle card deck, which is called the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. It's super colorful, and let's see what's the message that wants to come through for whoever is watching and listening to this episode, whatever time you're doing this. And let's see what's coming through. What's the message for the collective? Let's see. Wow. The thin veil. Let go and let glow. This is beautiful. The colors don't match whatever we're talking about because it's all about brownish, but it's kind of like going out of a cave. So let go and let glow. Let go of the attachment. Let go of your fears. Let go of anything that is blocking you from shining your light and glow. The thin veil. You are probably in a moment of your life where the veil between the old and the new, it's very thin. It's about time you step into the new. So I hope this episode resonated with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and for listening and for sticking with me. And I will see you next week.
Your future's
Ciao.
at the door.